This is the question asked in today's SkillTrack daily challenge. So in the first line of our input, we are given the values of n and k, and in the second line we are given n integers as input. So now our task is to find the largest two integer among every k integers. So here the value of k is equal to 3. So first let us consider the first set of three integers. So the first three integers are 54, 8 and 100. So our task is to find the largest two integer out of these three integers. So the two larger integers are 54 and 100, and we omit the integer 8 because that is the smallest integer out of three integers. So in our output we print only the integers 54 and 100. So this is for the first three integers. So now we should move to the next three integers. So the next three integers start from 8, 100 and 6. So out of these three integers, the two largest integers are 8 and 100. So here 6 is the smallest, so we omit that integer and print the remaining two integers 8 and 100. So now we move to the next three integers. So the next three integers are 100, 6 and 200. So here again 6 is the smallest and the remaining two integers are 100 and 200. So we print them. And finally the last set of three integers are 6, 280. So again 6 is the smallest, so we omit it, and the remaining largest two integers are 280. So in our output also we print those two integers as our output. So this is how we will be printing our output. Now let us see our sample input 2. So here the value of n is equal to 7 and k is equal to 5. So in the second line of our input we are given 7 integers, and here we have to consider every 5 integers. So the first 5 integers are 98, 29, 66, 56 and 90. So the largest two integers out of these 5 integers are 98 and 90, and out of these two integers 98 and 90, 90 is the smallest. So in our output first we print 90 and after that we print 98, because in our output we must print in ascending order. And now the next set of 5 integers are 29, 66, 56, 90 and 41. And again the largest two integers out of these two integers are 66 and 90. So in our output also we print those two integers, and after that again we have to consider the next set of 5 integers. So the largest two integers are again 66 and 90. So again in our output we print the two integers 66 and 90, and after this we won't be able to form 5 integers, so we have to stop. So this is how we should be printing our output. Now let us see how to write a C program for this. So first I am creating two integer variables n and k, and in the next line I am accepting the values of the integers n and k, and after that I am creating a new integer array named arr of size n. So now we have to accept n integers as input. So I am creating a loop that iterates for n times, and in every iteration we will be accepting an integer and storing it into the array arr. So after accepting the input we are going to perform the given task. So first I am creating a loop that iterates from 0 till I less than or equal to n minus k. So first let us see why we are iterating till n minus k. So for example, let us assume there is an array with integers 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So the size of the array is 5 because totally there are 5 integers in the array. And now we are going to form a subarray with 4 integers. So the first set of 4 integers would be 1, 2, 3 and 4. So there will be 4 integers, and the next set would be 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are only 2 possible subarrays of size 4 which can be formed, because after this if we try to form a subarray from the index, that is from the integer 3, we will be having only 3 integers. So we won't be able to form a subarray of size 4. So in an array of size n, if we want to form a subarray of size k, then the last subarray of size k will be formed from the index n minus k. So here totally there are 5 integers, so n is equal to 5 and the subarray size is equal to 4. So n minus k is equal to 1 because 5 minus 4 is equal to 1. and the index 1 was the last index from which we were able to form a subarray of size 4. That is, the integer present at the index 1 is 2. So 2 was the last integer from which we were able to form a subarray of size 4. From the integer 3 we weren't able. So this is the reason why we are iterating only till n minus k. So in every iteration of this I loop, first I am creating two integer variables named first and second. So I am assigning both of their values initially as 0, and again I am creating a loop. So this j loop only actually traverses through the subarray. So the I loop is just the starting index. Actually the j loop traverses through the subarray. So the j loop starts from I and the length of subarray is k. So the j loop iterates till I plus k. And in every iteration of this j loop, first we will be checking whether ARR of j is greater than first. So if this condition is satisfied, then it means that we have found an integer that is greater than the variable first. So the value stored in the variable first will be stored into second, and after that the variable first will be replaced with ARR of j. So this is how we will be finding the first largest and second largest integer simultaneously while traversing through our subarray. But if the first integer itself is the largest integer, then we won't be able to find the second largest integer. So in order to avoid that only, in the else if condition, we will also be checking the integer with the variable second. So in the else if condition, if ARR of j is greater than second, then we replace second is equal to ARR of I. So this is how, while traversing through our subarray, we will be finding the first and second largest integer. So finally, after the execution of this j loop, the two largest integers will be stored in the variable first and second, and in our output, while printing, we must print in ascending order. So we have to print the smallest first and after that the largest. So the second largest integer would be the smallest. So first we print the integer variable second, and after that we print the integer variable first. So we will be printing two integers in every iteration of this I loop. So we will be getting our output in decide pattern. So now let us check our program with sample test cases. So this is our sample input 1, and for sample input 1 this is our expected output. So we also get the same integers. So now let us also check our program with the sample input 2, and for sample input 2 this is our expected output. So again we get the correct integers as output. So this is the logic behind today's daily challenge. Thank you for watching.